Hello, ponders. It's time to splash around in the murky waters. Hi,
Hi,
Kathy.
Ponderers.
We're
Hello,
starting off.
Roxanne.
Hi. We're starting off with a compliment. Roxanne and Kathy, I love the double microphone pick for the live chat. Thank you, Laura. We decided to make a new one for this season, right, Kathy?
Hmm.
And it's hilarious because I would want something that was like red and black and pink. And Kathy's like, can we have earth tones? And I went and looked it all up and remember some of the words umbra. And I'm like, what? Brown?
Earth tones are lovely.
I
And
know.
it kind of fits the theme of the way home.
Hmm. So that's what we went with. All right. So, thank you for that, Laura. Hi, everyone. I know you're here saying all kinds of good stuff. I don't know about you, but I'm in the middle of a snowstorm. Well, it's brewing.
We've got one coming tomorrow morning.
Yes, and I'm tired. Are you tired?
Well,
I'm a little tired.
I'm actually finding that I'm getting good sleep on those days when I work out. So it
Nice.
took me several decades to learn that lesson. If you actually move around and get exercise, you sleep better.
You
So
sleep better. Cool. All right. So I'm going to jump in. I wanted to talk about season 2 for a minute. In the very first episode, we have young Colton with no shoes on and his little outfit going to the edge of the pond with the older woman. We don't really get to see her, but she's there. And she says to him, I know it calls to you. I wrote it down. I know it calls to you, meaning the pond. Remember what I said, it will always take you where you need to go. And that's a running tagline that they have. And but you need to stay here for now. And so I think that when he was a young boy, not much more than what he was there, when he was running through the woods with Evelyn and Rick and playing the White Witch game and whatnot, and she falls in, he goes back to save her. He wasn't supposed to go in yet. And people are saying, oh, where would he have gone if the White Witch, which was Cat, wasn't there to, lift him up and lift him out? I think he would have died because I think it was wrapping around him and he was getting pulled in and stuck. I don't think he was going to travel to anywhere. And it was an opportunity for Cat to, lift him up, push them out. And that's why Evelyn thought that the pond was magical, not because she had special powers herself. It was more because of what she saw. She always heard the lore, thought there were fairies there, and here she actually got to see the White Witch come out of the water, save them, and then leave. And I feel like after I saw that, it made me kind of think that Colton's been time traveling all along. That at some point he goes back in time, and that photo that we see, I'm talking more about that in a minute, also is like why he's able to travel. I don't know. He broke the rules and somehow he's going everywhere, not necessarily where he needs to go. Somehow he broke the rules with the pond. And I think we're going to get more of that. What are you thinking?
there was a similar circumstance, and I can't remember if it was Alice or Cat, but I
Hmm.
think they had gone in together and one of them got caught up in the algae. Do you remember that? Am I imagining that?
Yeah. Yeah. Alice.
Yeah.
She
So,
got frozen too in it. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So the pond has wishy washy ways. I don't know.
Yeah. So Rose is saying, I think he would have gone to the 1800s. I think he would have been the one Fern was talking about going to the 1800s, but it ended up being Jacob because Kat stopped it from being Colton. I think Kat saves his life because of the error of her going in the, like, causing the accident. Um, it was weird because when the accident first happened and she was there, I always thought that the accident would have always happened whether she was there or not. And because she happened to be there, it seems like she caused it, but I feel like it was always going to happen. Now I'm not so sure. And then I want to share this photo. I know there's stuff about the ring. Close your eyes. We'll get to that. This photo here that apparently was done by Susanna because at the end, she's pulling out her My Catherine um portrait that she made, and it's now not just sketched out, it's actually colored in. And this is Jacob, at older Jacob, but also next to him is what looks like Colton from like the 1974ish time. And I think they got a chance to meet, and that would make sense that he had an opportunity. He was being drawn by night in the 1800s by Catherine, and that's he probably saw the portrait, knew about it, and that's why when he was dying and he looked up at her, he said, "My Catherine." So I think that's how he knows about it. So he was time traveling even when he was younger there. And I still don't understand though, while he was, I kind of do. While when Jacob goes missing and he's just a little guy and he goes missing and he's trying to find a get put all his money in a detective apparently to go find him. Remember that? And it kind of ripped his marriage apart with Dell and all that. And he was also in grief counseling. I think he couldn't go back. Like he kind of knew where he was, but the pond would not let him go
Right.
because he's like a rule breaker. There's something with that connection. And the other thing I thought too was after I watched it again, where is it Isaiah? Is that no? What's the father's name from
Elijah?
Elijah? Thank you, Elijah. Talking about how it was, that no, there was no summer and the planting season, and he goes, "Yeah, the only thing that someone told me to, plant rye and potato." And Kat's like, "Rye and potato." Someone from the future gave him that advice. So I think we're going to get to see more of that. That's just what's in my thoughts when it has to do with the Colton and Jacob. And then, Jacob is mad at his sister, which I thought was weird. He was mad at her when she confesses that she causes an accident, which makes him die. He's all ticked off and mad at her. But why? Because you would think like I thought the reaction was weird and I not well scripted, because he's all he's doing is keeps professing all his love for his father. That's his real father, the one, from the 1800s. And I don't know, I wouldn't have, he's had such a sinister reaction, like I thought that was weird and out of place. So I know I said a whole bunch, but what do you think, Kathy, about that stuff?
If I was going to describe my feelings about this episode in one word, it would be the F word: frustrated.
Okay.
We're more than halfway done. We've only got 4 episodes left. And instead of starting to unravel some of these things and answer questions, they're introducing new characters, they're introducing new mysteries, and it's just getting exhausting, for me at least. I'm just exhausted trying. I don't try anymore to figure out this clue or that clue because it's just too much. It's too much. And I wish they would, get on with it. Like explain how some of these, what the meaning is for some of these. It's I don't know, what's the purpose of Emma being there? And I like adult Nick, but what is the point of him being back? And why can't Kat just mind her own business instead of going back and then causing all that trouble? There wouldn't have been all the drama if she hadn't gone back.
Mm-hmm.
And the same with Alice. We talked a little earlier. Alice sees Sam and Casey walking by and hits the road, and it's like, how about you wait till you see Sam? He's going to be around, and just ask him, what's going on? I saw you with Casey. But I don't understand the characters' motivations at this point. I just wish they would solve some of these things. I can't imagine they're going to wrap up all of the mysteries in the next 4 episodes.
Yeah, I know.
The one thing I did like, I like Max. I think he's pretty cute and pretty cool. And poor Noah. It's like, dude, read the room. You're on the way out. It's obvious to everybody except maybe Alice and Max. Yeah.
I know. Jacqueline is saying, it is in this drawing, couldn't the man on the right be Elijah's son William? I don't think so. I truly think that it looked to me like Colton, but the teenagery type, 18-year-oldish kind of Colton. It didn't look like someone different. No, that's just my opinion. Christina doesn't like Max. Rose does. I like Max. I like them. I'm
I
interested
did
in.
like the humor that came. I'm sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
did like the humor that came back. It was back to season one with Elliot saying
Yes.
something and the teacher's going by and he was like, "Oh crap, what did I did it again."
My
I
mother, my entanglements, and your mother and I's, relationship. And then they're looking, he's like, oh, and then he takes, and I noticed something. I forget which episode. It was this one recently where the actor had his hair messed up when it was like falling in the front. And I thought, oh, how attractive he looks. He's an attractive man anyway. But when they got him all teachered up, his hair is down like this. Did you notice that? They do his hair up to make him look teachery, which I'm insulted by that.
Emma is annoying. Why didn't you give me the ring? Well, I was actually saving that for when I got married to the woman I actually loved. I wish he had just said that to her.
Listen, what woman? Here's the dialogue. She says, "So happy you and Kat found each other. So great together. Don't let her go." And I'm thinking, please, when fools say that, and oh, I just need to know. I just need to know if there was love. If I'm over the divorce. I'm over us. No, you're not. No, you're not. That was a ridiculous thing. Who cares? Like, nobody travels that far to say, "Oh, why didn't I get the family ring?" That's weird. To me, it's weird.
It is
So
weird.
it's weird writing, or there's going to be more that comes to that. Every single thing is a story wrapped in a story. When I was in music class with my kiddos and we were learning how to drum on these big bouncing balls, they were saying, and I never forget this, they were saying to them, you can't have like, that's chaos. You need to have a stop somewhere in between to make a beat, right? Well, that's what I think of this. It's like a pacoon, 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 pacoon. There's never like filler, a little bit of filler to move it. Ay, 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 ay. So now we got Emma, who I could care less about and wish she wasn't there. And then they have them kiss. And you got Elliot with this very over dramatic look on his face, looking off at the porch, like, oh my, what was that? And her driving away. And now we've got Nick who's back and he and Claire coming. And I want to tell you something that annoys me. This annoys me to the core. Okay. And people are going to get offended by this, but this is going to annoy me. An anagram is an anagram. It has rules. So if I told my students to come up with an anagram and they said to me, "Oh, Alice and Claire," I'd say, no, because there's no R in Alice. And then they try to say, "Oh, well, that could be her middle name. That could be this." No, then it's not an anagram. It's a nothing. Is you making up stuff that you want it to be. You want to theorize, have some plausibility to it. I was just talking about that to my children, my students. Is this a plausible answer? So there's 9,972 theories out there or more, and I'm okay with it. But for the goodness sake, don't argue with me and call something an anagram, and it's not. It
I
is.
think the anagram of Allison came up with Casey.
Huh? What?
uh,
Oh my gosh, that gets me to the core, that one, but that's okay, whatever. Now Nick is back, and why? We got to throw him back in the mix. And you know what? If we're going to throw anybody back in the mix, do you want to know who I wish they'd throw back into the mix? Where is Kat's friend? She needs a female friend and not one stuck in her nightgown back in the witch era of the 1800s. Where is Monica?
Monica.
In the short amount of time that Monica was on, she looked gorgeous and fabulous. And I loved when she said, she like, we got to get like the party moving on, right? Get this party, remember, they like move it on. I
I'm
love
still waiting to see
yeah.
Monica's husband. He was supposed to be the little dorky guy that they referred to back in the 90s, was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't have room for the friends because they keep introducing all the new people.
Rose says, haha, the anagram. I don't think Claire is Alice now because she's willing to move to Port Haven when where teen Alice is. I've thought about that theory in the past, though. No, it's not an anagram, okay? There's
That's
an
what she's
R.
saying. She's making fun of that.
No, she's thought it in the past, but she's gone wayside. No. That's my answer. No. If you were a student, you would have got a 0. 0. Okay. No.
I don't think that's what she was saying.
She, I'm talking about the anagram 0, not her. I'm
Oh,
saying,
oh, oh.
but she's saying, look, I've thought about that theory in the past, though. She thought about it. No. It's a no to the no, no, no. Watch it be that they did it.
Oh,
And
was
then
that Rose?
I'm going to have the writers on, and I'm going to say to the writers, this is not an And what's up with Casey and Sam? Yeah, they just throw that in at the end. Now, this is funny. Kathy and I had a conversation that was a little bit at odds. And I said, go ahead, tell them what you said about Casey and Sam and Alice.
Mind your own business, Alice. I mean, go to Sam maybe later on or run into Casey, but go chasing after him because they walk past your window and they're having a conversation. She's stalking people at this point.
And I said to her, really? So if it's her property, she looks out the window. It was dark out, I think. She sees two people. First of all, she's been dying to run into Casey. She runs in and she sees Casey with Sam, who they're not even supposed to know each other. Where do they know each other from? That's weird.
Again,
and then
business.
Walking across your property, and she was wearing a necklace with a ring on it that was the same necklace and ring that her parents gave to her. So this is why. So I think it's weird.
Sam walks across Dell's property, winky, winky, all the time. So
I would think it's even more weird. I think
it's okay with her that he walks across her property
with a child that they're all been on the lookout for.
Oh my word!
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Just no.
Yes.
And somebody Casey should backhand Alice because she's too nosy.
Alice and Casey having a because Casey runs away from Alice in the preview.
I would too.
She says, where do you get that necklace? And Casey's like, yoing. And she's like, Casey. I'm like, oh, dear Lord. Do you think the young guy in the scene of the couple and the baby at the pond could possibly be Colton's older brother and we weren't told about went away? Listen, Scott, I got no idea and I'm not even going to try it. I'm not even going to try it. Here's the thing. I do care. But I don't. I'm excited to figure out what that is as it unravels before me because I got a huge, massive cast that I'm trying to take my notes on. Oh, you agree? You love Monica? Monica. We need a tag, a hashtag that says more Monica.
Outfits. Oh my gosh!
More Monica.
More about the town and the other people in the town. We finally started getting glimpses of Rita again. But, whatever happened to the theater, it was a storyline that they were selling it, but they just, I don't understand why they just dropped that.
Yes.
And Monica's son, he went off to school. I don't know if he went internationally or something, but we don't hear anything else about him.
That's okay. He might be doing other things. And I know that the actress and
someone explain it. He's at Oxford getting his doctorate or something.
No, they did. They said he was off in cooking school. He was in Italy and he was leaving. It's been a year, not even a year, I guess a year. Yeah. Let's see. He could be backpacking through Europe afterwards. You know how they do that. A gap year. Someone here, Rose said, yes, she is working on another film. I get that. But still, I would like to have seen more of her. They always kind of, make up whatever, like time frames for people. Christina, I agree with you about the attic. I also have a theory that I don't think that she was held captive up there. I think that was a space that was for her to do what she wanted to do in her artwork and whatever else. I don't think that Susanna was held captive up there. It was more like a protection because sometimes people thought she was a witch. You know what I mean?
He made her a studio.
He made her a studio?
Yeah, Cyrus gets a bad rap.
He does. Well, he has done bad stuff, but still.
Haven't we all?
I don't know if I've whipped somebody. Never mind.
50 Shades of Roxanne.
We're just going to sail by that one. Okay. Catherine. There's so many Kathys and Catherines. Scott Henry, the female in the baby. Oh, this is the baby thing. In the baby in the basket by the pond scene is wearing Doc Marten. High tops. Alice wears those all the time. They didn't get popular here until the late 80s. This is true. We got our little people out there. I truly think that that's Alice. Who she's with exactly and who that baby is, I got no idea. But I don't think it's the obvious. I feel like they want us to think that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Wait. This person, I laughed at a ridiculous amount of the wink wink.
The wink wink.
Oh, listen, Finn is missing this season. If one more person talks about Finn, I have to tell you about this.
I think he negotiated and wanted much higher salary and some points on reruns, and they are like,
listen,
you're canceled.
I know that Alex had said this. Alex Cook, who played Cat from the 1990s, said that the dog had some issues. He had some serious issues. I don't know if he was a rescue or whatever it was. And I don't think he was like easy on the set for whatever reason. So Finn, if we ever see him again, this is just my opinion. I'm not authority on it, would be a different Finn. And maybe Finn, went off running around in the fields, having a good time. And we just have to pretend that's where he is. You know what I mean?
Or he jumped into the pond and he's now in 2010.
If he jumps with a Landry. I wonder if they will bring back the theater now that Nick is coming back to stay. Why?
Maybe he'll decide to buy the theater.
Yes. So the attic
could happen around the theater.
So the attic was a workroom for Susanna in there. It was something. I don't think it was as sinister as it kind of Evelyn kind of thought it was. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think it's okay. Angela's saying, I'm a little curious about when the Ouija board said, blame them, the secret closet door open, the door where the painting of Cat is, Cat's to blame. Well, Cat did go back and cause issues. So let's talk a little bit about so she always thinks that she has to fix things. And that comes from, if it's good writing in my head, that comes from her trauma, the trauma of when she should have been watching her brother. So she thought, and all that happened, what happened to him, she's blamed herself all this time. So she's constantly trying to fix things. And instead, it kind of makes it worse and it causes this ripple effect. I also feel like her father, Colton, kind of has that same mentality where something went wrong with his family because his father is missing or dead and his brother is missing. It's just him with the two women in the house. And he feels like he's stuck there. I think he does something that he kind of maybe went in the pond when he shouldn't, broke the rules.
Well, do you know what I mean? Would stop. I mean, I think you've got Cat nailed dead on. I mean, she feels the need to fix everything and fix everybody. Just stay in your own time, and most of these problems won't occur. People don't need to be fixed.
And in the end, I think that's maybe a lesson that she has to, that has to be learned. And because she's interfering in ways, things happen. So let's get to the part where she goes in the past thinking that she has to help save Susanna, who kind of is mad. And the reason why she's mad and angry is because she's worried. You know, when you're mad, like I yell out the door, what do you mean you're outside with no shoes on? And what do you mean you went over to the lake? Because we have a lake in the backyard. When they're little, I yell because I'm afraid something's going to happen to them. Right. So I think that's why Susanna appears to be mean, because she's got it under control. And here's Cat all messing stuff up.
I think that's part of it. She's worried about Cat and all the rest of them that came through. But I think part of it also she's doing what she wants to do for her own reasons. And you guys are interfering with my, plan here.
Yes, she's a smart girl. She's making her way. She knows what she has to do. She goes, we don't always get to marry the one that we want to marry. Who the heck even knows who she wants to marry? But we marry the one that gets you what you want. It's like they kind of have like this deal. He saved her. He helped her kind of thing. So back to this. I was surprised. It really was a, you're leaving me?
I got to get some water. Sorry, I was trying to
talking and you left me, Kathy. All right. Anyway, back to what I was saying. 1816 is a real thing. I mean, there was a volcanic eruption over in, what was it? Asia, Europe. I mean, it caused that big whole thing in Europe, parts of Europe, and then parts of Canada even got affected in North America. And there was an eclipse too in the summer of, I think it was June, and then there was one in November. The one in November, because people are like, oh, eclipse doesn't go like that. Well, we had eclipse not too long ago and we taught the kids about it. So totality does not last for that long. So the totality of the eclipse, according to documents as much as they could, in November was about 2 minutes, a little bit over 2 minutes long. So that whole scene could have been that way. But this was the one that was in the summer. And the eclipse in the summer, the totality was closer to 4 minutes. So I think they're just having a little play with, creative license there. So it doesn't last for hours and hours. Totality is almost like you can see it move. When our kids went outside last year with the special glasses, we watched totality and how it shifted. So that to me, I wasn't upset by. I wanted to address that. But she does go back in time and causes issues. And now we see Thomas. And I don't know what was the purpose of seeing Thomas other than to just see Thomas. Do you know what I mean? Is he going to have a role in what goes on later on? I'm not quite sure. And she's like, I will be back, Cyrus. I will be back. And, if you don't do something right. And she kind of like, she's going to put her hand on him, that kind of thing. I don't know where that's going. I feel like they tied that up a bit.
Yeah, I think they're just giving service now to when Chris is available. Let's get him on here for something. I don't know. I don't know what the purpose is either. I don't know if they know what the purpose is. I don't, sometimes it seems like they're just going from episode to episode instead of having this all mapped out. I'm sure they do, but.
There wasn't an eclipse in December. There was an eclipse in June and one in November. And it depends upon where you were to have an eclipse and what the totality was like. So, yeah.
I saw a comment, and I can't find it now. I should have tagged it when I saw it. But someone speculated that Casey may be Sam's granddaughter, what would you say, grandperson? Grandchild, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think would actually be pretty interesting because that would make Sam a good one somehow.
I don't know.
Yeah. That would be a pretty kettle of fish. Although I'm still holding out that he's Colton's older brother. Now that would be a plot twist.
Yeah. And Laura, you're right. You're right. It was, but why was she there in the beginning anyway? To be sent back with a white gown to save her father when he was a little boy. And because when she got thrown back she didn't get thrown in the water. They were holding hands. They let go. She fell in the water. And that was to make her be able to save Evelyn and her father, but she wouldn't have had to save him if I don't know. It's just that whole, she meddles a lot and then it causes issues. So I don't have enough to try to figure it out, but I know that there's some kind of a definite connection, and there's got to be something with the rye and the potato. And like I said, when I saw that sketch, we know that young Colton then goes back to the 1800s, and that's what's making me think.
One of my favorite shows that I watch and rewatch obsessively is The Flash, believe it or not. And they spent seasons with the characters going to the past and going to the future, but they always spent time showing what the effects of going to the past did, how it changed things in present day. And I would like to see some of that because they can't just go back and interfere and interact and it has no effect on
like the butterfly effect
going on in the present day. Yeah, the butterfly effect, yeah. But they never addressed that.
I know. But they might. I like the Clark Kent moment when Thomas removed his glasses and hat and revealed his identity. Cyrus then recognized him. Right. And that's the whole point about, as if she raised him from the dead, like as someone said. And it was funny. But everybody's like, oh, people that want them together. Oh, Thomas, he helps Catherine. He understands Catherine. He always lies to her and thinks it's funny. like, you know what I mean? Like he's always, I don't know, he's always on the edge of whatever. Um, well, there was something here. So the actor, which we should have had him on, the actor who plays Sam, we should have him on. He said in an interview somewhere that there's a lot about him, that it's more than meets the eye. And I feel like saying, yeah, we know this, right? And there is that whole theory that Sam is Colton's brother, older brother. Could be, but he also could be a good one. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know.
Could be
What do you
both.
think? Do you think season 4 may be heading to the 1920s, since Jasper said that Fern was really interested in the 1920s articles and Fern's aside? Could be, but you know what, Scott? Let's talk about a season 4. You love the show and you would like a season 4. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say about this because they think that I'm not telling the truth. You like the season 4 and you want to have a say. Well, here's how you have a say. You get on X and you use the hashtag the way home on Friday nights and Saturday nights if you want, but definitely on Friday nights. And you tweet and tweet and tweet how much you love it and want it. And you help to get it to trend. And then it gets collected by the Nielsen Corporation and they look at it with Hallmark. This is how you get a season 4, if that's what you want. I talked to the wall. So we had a little contest. It's still ongoing. And the contest said that if you were on our fan page, you get somebody who's not a watcher. You get them excited to watch. You have them join the fan page. And we have a comment that says, are you here? Here, did someone invite you? And some people have said yes. We've had people doing that. But you also had to get on X and you had to use the hashtag the way home and you had to tweet about it. And you also had to @ me. So I could collect it myself. I didn't see one person on X that added me. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't get any of that. So I got a lot of people that are new to the fan page invited by someone, but the whole X thing is important. You don't like X? Fine. Don't use it. But those of you that are on, this is what helps. Just telling you. Just saying. All right. I was thinking about Team Rocket from the Pokemon anime when I saw Thomas's disguise. My students are all into that. And I know that you are too. I know that
I
because
saw
yeah.
an explanation for the whole Superman reference with the glasses, and it's like, how did nobody know that was Clark Kent? I read a theory that the glasses are from Krypton, and it had some kind of effect on people, so that when they looked at Clark, they saw this nerdy little weak guy that probably had no connection to Superman. And so when he took them off, then you saw him in his full body, which actually made sense to me because otherwise it really is silly. Batgirl.
That's true. Cheryl, he actually said Sam is not who you think he is. Yes, thank you, Cheryl.
Rod Stewart, the actor?
The actor, yeah, said Sam is not who you think he is. I love it. Thank you for that.
And Dell's going to have a chance to go into a whole lot of dramatic monologue when she finds out who he really is. And I don't know who he really is, but whoever it is, she's going to not be happy, I think.
Let's see. What's Christina said? Cyrus said his men are blind. They never see people out in the open. Wait a minute. I just saw something that I wanted to talk about that was important. Oh darn. The one about the sand, but there was something else I saw somebody say. Maybe I think it was Christina. She said something about Max and that Casey's supposed to be Max and Alice's baby or child. Do you know what I find funny or not funny? I liked it is when Alice and her grandma Dell made up and they said real important things to each other and let's never fight again. I liked it. And Dell said to her, listen, I don't want you to tell me about my memories because that's all that I have. I don't want to hear another perspective, because then it changes what I've thought, like what she thought all along. And I get that.
I totally get it.
She loved that. That's her love. She loved Colton. And to think that there's something else that she didn't realize would just kill her heart. And this is what she has. She's always dreaming of him and feeling him and speaking to him. You know what I mean? So
We're
I'm
back to my feeling about Alice. Mind your own business. Don't feel the need to interfere in every single
stay
person's
out of my
life.
memories. Yes, yes. And she kind of thought about that, you know. And I also like the advice that she gave her, how they wrote that, where she said Alice, like she thought it was silly, but listened in a good way. Like you don't want to poo poo when you're someone's trying to, you know, share with them. And she didn't. She said to her, "What I know about you, there's no way you're going to marry somebody that you're not in love with." You know what I mean? So relax. Don't, and she keeps trying to say, you know, fate and all, and your future, to try to say that to Elliot. And Elliot's like, "Why are you asking me that?" You know? So yeah.
You
Um,
marry somebody who likes French fries dipped in mustard like you do. That's how you know you're encountering your soulmate.
Speaking of X, hi Angela. I'm really confused. I try so much, but I have so many questions about what counts and what don't. Could you give us a lesson? I did give a lesson. So Angela, you're going to see that I'm tired. I want to say that. We've been through a lot in the past 2 days at my school. So I feel like my students never grow up and become adults that listen. Poor Angela, I'm not taking this out on you. I'm a teacher, so you know I am going to be thorough, okay? Not only have I explained it and demonstrated it, we even had a little live with a tutorial that you can find on the page. It's all up there. It's even been tagged up on here. So we explained and we shared, and it's the easiest thing to do. You get on there at that anytime. You could start early if you want, and you just write something, put a GIF up there. I always put the one of um Sadie jumping in the water. And you just put, "I'm excited," and put the hashtag the way home. And then if somebody else has something there, you hit where it says, here, I even demonstrated and held it up. So there's stuff out there. There's no need to be confused. It's there. We've explained it. We demonstrated it. We hosted it. We asked the people had questions, that kind of thing. I wanted to say, okay, so this is Sadie. This is beautiful. She has it's stuff of Kyler Lee when she was doing her modeling. So it's right here. See this? Well, at the bottom, it has like this little loopy thing. And if I click that, it says repost, quote, or view post interactions. I hit quote. That allows me to put a hashtag, and I'm going to repost whatever they have and make a comment. It's that easy. Just try it. It's not that difficult.
She
And
has another question.
okay. Well, you know, I've been doing that. I'm personalized gifts on X, but if I heart your post or reply to your post, does it count? And should I still use the hashtag in the reply? Always use the hashtag. And if you heart stuff, it doesn't help. It's the hashtag and the number that helps. And then they see all of it. And then what we can add to it is a hashtag. You always have to use the hashtag the way home. It has to be connected to the hashtag the way home. If not, it falls on deaf ears. So they got to be linked together. And what I mean is 2 hashtags, the way home. And then if you want something else, that's up to you. But the more hashtags you have, the harder it is to get it to trend. So Christina was saying more the way home, season 4, something like that. That's cute. We have to decide. I got some really good answers, and I'm going to put up a poll, and then we'll decide for the week, and we'll keep using it. Season 4 and so much more. You want it to be short and as much as it can. There's some cute ideas, but it's the way home that counts. All right, let's move on from that. Catherine says Alice and Dell had a moment that softened Dell a little after their argument. It did, and I loved it. Yes. Angela says, blew that theory. You were saying memories, so that's what I typed. Oh, that's okay. No biggie. Hallmark website recapped. What's that? Episode 2 saying that Teen Colton came via the pond to the present day from 1974. Didn't look like that to me, But if so, maybe Jacob brings Elijah. Hallmark's website recapped episode 2 saying that teen Colton came through the pond to the present day from 1974. That's probably a typo. I didn't see that as a recap. It's not in my press packet or anything. So I don't know. That might be just a typo. And Jacqueline likes whatever you're saying. She thinks you're funny. All right. When Evelyn was at the pond saying you came out, Donnie, do you think that Donnie is Jacob's childhood friend?
I think that's Danny. I
When
think
you
that's an A.
Danny? Okay, you're right. Well, I don't know when she said that. Do you?
I don't recall that.
I'm sorry. I don't recall that. I'm sorry. Maybe you could give me a little bit more, Reem? I don't know. I think Evan was saying come out fair. Oh, she was. Thank you, Jacqueline. She was. Come out fairies. She always talks about that as a child and as not an adult, but a teenager, like the fairies and stuff in there, like it's supposed to be magical, that kind of thing. She was saying fairies. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah, fairies. They're trying to help out. Okay. All right. Now, yes, little Evelyn, you're right. My bad hearing. It's okay. It's not your bad hearing. Believe it or not, it's the ADR. Sometimes the outside, that's a real pond that picks up other sounds. And then some of them have a Canadian for me as an American accent. So we get it. It's not bad hearing. Sam and Casey were walking past the point, not the Landry house.
I think it might have been a perspective thing. It looks like they were closer than they were.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Barbie. All right. Still, what were they doing together? And she's wearing, and she wants to know, why Casey has the necklace. Stalker. No. I use closed caption. You know that's wrong half the time to read the dialogue, so I'm not confused what I think I heard. I know, but it's not always right, Catherine. You have to be careful with that one too. It's so wrong all the time. I can't. It gets on my nerves when it does that, but it helps. All right. Oh, Rona, where have you been, Rona? I really cannot wait to see if Del can go. Okay, so let's talk about that, Rona. I want to talk about it. I love at the end when her daughter comes up and she's crying and she's holding her, and when she tells her what she tells her, and then you see her say, I think it's a preview, I don't think it's in there, that she's going to go with her. She's going to travel with her. I love it. I hope she can. Alice and Casey were friends. If I saw a friend walking by on the street, I would run out to catch them too. I don't think it's stalkery. Thank you.
It's stalkery.
I always wondered if Sam was the lawyer helping Casey with the legal papers last season about the land sale. Those legal papers couldn't have traveled through the pond.
What happened to the mystical horse?
It's not a mystical horse. It's his horse, and she was helping him with it.
But didn't it have some kind of properties? Didn't she look all moody-eyed when she saw it?
She did. It reminded her, she told about her past, and she told the story about it. But it's not mystical. It's still there, and it's his, and she's been helping with it.
Where's the veterinarian?
Why do you always bring up that? It scarred you. The veterinarian scarred you. Do you think Casey only I'm going to make the veterinarian actor, who is lovely, he's going to be our guest, and I'm not going to tell you, and it's going to be
maybe that's who Kat needs to forget. Thomas, forget Elliot, bring the veterinarian back. That's her soul.
You're just going to be like, oh, hello. I just love you. You're the greatest. I wish you'd be back. And he'd be like, I watched your podcast, Kathy. Do you think Casey only has the ring because Alice gave it to Evelyn in the 1970s and it was just passed down through generation? Listen, I don't know. I have no answer for you people, okay? You have way more answers than I do. Some of them annoy me, but it's okay. I'm sure I annoy you too. I never annoy Kathy. Oh. Uh-oh. All right, Diane. I love the show, but it's getting too confusing, which makes it more frustrating rather than intriguing.
The F word I used earlier.
Had meetings on Tuesday, switched to Wednesday, so I should be here from now on. Yay, yay, Rona, thank you. Was his name Andy? Oh, here we go. That poor character. Yes, his name was Andy. Fun fact about the actor who played him. He is in a Netflix series, and he played sort of like I think he was like a detective trying to find out the Black Widow in the mother daughter. It's their first two names series. I can't think of it. Like she always kills off her husbands, and like she's a serial killer, and the daughter finds out, and he played an undercover guy.
Did he kiss anyone in that one? Because he's a real good kisser.
I think so. I think he plays someone who's gay. He is. He's gay. He's gay, and he has a partner.
What's the name of that series?
It's there are two names, and I can't think of the two female names. I'm sorry. I'm going to think about
Penny
it.
in Georgia?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I skipped my Tuesday meeting with a sore throat. Okay. From a cold, so you're there. Yes,
Was it real sore throat, Laura?
All right. So I don't know. I don't have that much more to say. There's 139 people here. Thank you. I think I said most of what I wanted to say, because what can we say? We can theorize till the cows come home and get on our own nerves. And it's just like, I don't know. I do have to say this, though, about Dell. I loved that we got some more of her background and how she's wealthy. And I remember her saying that when she went back home, she made a selfish choice. I feel like either her father's going to lose all his money in some kind of a scam or a crash or whatever, or maybe the mother gets sick, one of the parents gets sick and dies. Whatever it is, she decides not to stay and goes back to Colton. And I think that might be where the fallout is. And I love that she's the one to put the fish on there, because she's got that artistic part in her. And we know that because in the present, she does her clay and her stuff and her drawing. So her family doesn't think that it's appropriate for her to be doing that, because she's a lady. And kudos to Julia, who I asked to be.
I was about to say that she once again knocked it out of the park in terms of channeling Andy through her acting as Dell. I think she's just phenomenal in that role.
So I think he loses his money. Something goes on with the mother, and she just ups and says bye-bye and goes back to Colton, which she wants to be with him anyway. And she said, and he goes, why would you draw a fish? We know you don't like the water and all that, which I think is so ironic, because the Landrys are so about the water. And she says, because I'm a fish out of water and you caught me. I like that line. That was cute. That was really cute. Hey, Allie. She did. And so I assume something happens there after she returns home. Definitely didn't see her family being wealthy. I did. I thought her family had money for some reason. I forget what it was, but yeah. What do you think about Jacob turning sinister at the wedding, wanting to shoot Cyrus? Listen, trauma with a capital T. He's had trauma. Just being a little guy, getting sucked in that pond, being stuck in an era that he didn't really even know anything about, unless he was too young to have studied it yet. And, being raised by people that are totally different, having these weird memories, then to come back. I mean, he doesn't know where he belongs. And he also has a fear that if he didn't go back, he wouldn't get to say goodbye to the dad. Why do I keep forgetting what
Elijah?
Why do I say Isaac? And when I say it, I know it's not right. Elijah.
It's all biblical.
And he loves him. He loves him, and he wanted to be able to say goodbye again, because he never feels like he gets to say goodbye to anybody. Yeah. She kept talking about the cotillion and leaving childhood. Yep. If you close your eyes when Juliet speaks, you think it is Andy. It is. Yeah. He's trying to help his family. Okay. Linda. Hi, Linda. What was the fire too fast? Was it Rick that they were talking to? And if it was, who do you think is to blame? Yeah, that's going to unravel. That's most definitely going to unravel, as is the ring. Let's talk about the ring.
As is so many other things, all in the next 4 episodes.
Close your eyes. Okay. So we saw, here is here's Susanna, and as her wedding as her wedding as her wedding ring, which we see here on her finger, and then here when it was in Vic's hands, is the same ring. And people are like, then it's not really Augustine ring, it's a Goodwin ring. Why? He had it made for her, and he gave it to her for as her wedding.
She handed it down through the Augustine line, apparently.
Yeah, so it belongs to her, and she would give it to her son, right? And pass it down, or whoever. I mean, if there was no more sons, maybe another relative. And, the Goodwin, they said Cyrus had 2 sons by another wife who died. And then he likes and fancies Susanna, and that's why he wanted her. So it's a Goodwin and a Augustine ring. So I'm sure something's going to come up about this. Elijah dies in 1820. He does. I'm pretty sure he does, because it said it somewhere. Yeah. And it is a beautiful ring. But in this one, you could see that little starbursty thing going on. That's one of their symbols. And there it is. There's the other sketch. So, yeah. Yep. Do you know when Elijah dies and people are answering the wedding ring? I know. Let's not forget Teen Elliott was house sitting at Lingamore when Evelyn was traveling. Yes, there's definitely a connection and relationship. All right, so we're going to get rid of that and put ourselves here, and we're going to go with this, and then I am tired, and I think I'm done. He was sure angry with Kat when she told him that she killed Cole. I know, I talked about this right away, Brianna. I understand why he was angry, though. He was being he's been through so much. Yes, but no. I mean, that was to me a real freak out. Remember I said to you, it didn't flow, especially since he just got done saying he's really not like my dad. It's Elijah who's my dad. I have memories of him and whatever. So, yep, called her Mrs. Goodwin, but the ring was passed down the Augustine line. Yes, because it's hers. She's the female. It's hers. Whatever. Don't forget, it also says Susanna Augustine, not Goodwin, on her tombstone. And on the sketch is the bee. I'm curious what the bee symbolizes. Yep. Mrs. Goodwin. Ugh, gross. She gave him a kiss, too. A big lip kiss. Yes, he was. He wasn't a partner, Christina. They weren't partners. They were business associates or something. They did business together. I don't know that they were partners. I agree. Jacob being so angry didn't ring so true. And you know that something happened that particular summer. Something was going down with the family, because she said usually they all came, but this time she came alone. And I think they probably sent her because they wanted her away when they were trying to figure out whatever was going down, south with their business and their money, and keep her out of the way and not knowing. Plus, they probably couldn't afford to go. You know what I mean? If he was losing everything. Yep, we don't know anything about any of that. And I think on purpose, they don't want to tell us any of it. Yeah. All right, Kathy, what do you want to say? Because I said too much.
I hope they start wrapping things up next week. A little bit at a time. And I want to see more of Max and Alice.
I do too. I'm excited to learn about
poor Noah.
I like
episode.
I liked Noah when he had his longer hair. I thought he was cute, and they really changed his look big time. And I talked about that before. And I'm okay with those two, but I love the idea of Max and her, and she's mad about it. And he goes, "Oh, good, I see you're being friends." She's like, "Why?" With that face. Like, you could see her as a child there. And he's like, "Because you need to bring up your grades. You said you want to bring up your grades. He's smart. He's going to be your lab partner." Like, she's all.
I love a good enemies to lovers storyline.
I know. Yeah, I know. Well,
he should henceforth be known to me as poor Noah.
Barbie. Okay, you corrected that. You think she's in love with Kat. Oh, good Lord. They're all
See,
in love with
I
her.
think that may be another one of those things that's so obvious it's a red herring. I think she might be in love with Thomas. I know she didn't paint my Thomas, but I still stick by that. I think that's a possibility.
Oh, what? The odd thing is that Dell and Colton didn't know each other, so how could she have been there before? No, no, Linda. They vacationed together. They usually went on vacations together, not necessarily at her house. And Evelyn says, but they come together, and this time they just sent her. That's what it was. Yeah. Anyone else feel awful for Kat? She always gets arrested and hung and gets pushed into the pond by an angry Jacob who doesn't go back to the present with her. Then she's immediately sucked into 1965. No,
You know how she could have avoided all of that?
minding her own
It
business.
stayed home and minded her own business.
And then we wouldn't have a story. There'd be no story. All right. It is time to say goodnight.
I'm so glad we had this time together. Sorry, wrong show.
All right. It's time. So I don't know who our guest is going to be next week. I have no idea. We'll let you know. You're welcome. Carol Burnett. You're welcome. Listen, see you on X. And if you have a new person, they have to they have to include me. They have to about Hallmark. I already put that stuff up here. If you can't find it, search it, let me know.
If you're introducing a new person, I suggest you invite them over and cook and have snacks for them, but start them on season 1. Don't start them on this wacky season 3 because they'll be like their head spinning. If you start them on season 1, 2 or 3 episodes in, they're going to be hooked.
Yeah, I know.
Serve up some French fries with mustard.
Well, guess what? I always do a recipe, and that is I was going to do wine fries because they talk about the good one, How about when what was it? Brady's like, yeah, that's not a good tagline. He just comes out and says it. The good wine, it's good wine. And Dell's always drinking wine, and so is Kat, and I was going to do wine fries. And I love wine fries, but I was like, oh, I'm going to do some homemade fries. I'm going to put a little twist on them, and everybody can eat them with mustard.
Mm.
Honey mustard.
That actually sounds good.
I know. And
then I can go get a sling blade and go to town on somebody. I can't think of that character's name. Billy Bob Thornton, Sling Blade. Does anybody else remember? That was his favorite food. French fries with mustard.
I don't know. All right. Good night, everyone. Splash in the pond on Friday.